Hello and welcome to the Mighty Electronic Box for the week of 13th of May 2013. It's another two-man cast, unfortunately, because Johnny isn't here again because of exams and he's a massive pussy. So it's just me and Joe. How are you, Joe?
I'm good, and fucking A, man. Fucking
Really?
exams. What's he playing at, dude?
What a douche.
I mean, just what are you doing?
Yeah, just flunk all your exams. It's only his final year. I'm sure
Exactly.
his life will be fine.
Retake your exams, and
Don't
it's
say
all,
that.
and it's good. It's fine,
I am severely worried about one of my exams.
dude. You're in your first year. It doesn't even count.
It does, but not for much. It counts for like 11%.
Yeah, but that's on like a to 3 scale.
No, but
So
it's
it's
still, if I fail one of the exams, I still have to actually retake it, otherwise they won't let me carry on.
When I was at uni, I was fucking pissed. Like when people would fail their work when I was at uni, they'd get given like a really fucking scrubby, easier piece of work as like their resit work.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that fucking sucked. Like I can't remember which one it was, but I think someone failed like their mechanics piece,
Yeah.
which was like a really in-depth piece of like analyzing mechanics, and he got given like make a video review as his fucking as his like retake piece. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh man,
Wow.
university's such a load of shit.
Well,
Kids,
were
if
the
you're listening
marks
to this, don't believe that.
were the marks like capped for their retake?
No, no, it was.
They could get a higher mark.
Well, no,
Like,
they
they
could get a
still
high
get
mark.
full marks.
Yeah, but you could get like the same. And I was like, what?
That's silly.
Yeah.
I've heard people say if you having retakes capped at like a pass mark, so no matter how well you do, you only can pass.
Yeah, that should be how it works, but that's not how it works.
I always found retakes a weird concept.
I think it's fucking dumb. To
Mm.
be honest, it's if you fail, you fucking fail. Like
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like the entire point of uni. It's like, yeah, all that shit's for school. Like, uni's like, yeah, you fail, tough shit. Like, deal with it, move on. But no, I mean, like, university's basically a fucking business. That's all it really is. So,
That's true.
I mean, like, when you look at it in those terms, it's like, yeah, it's not in their interest to let anybody actually flunk out. They stop getting money. They don't get paid.
Yeah. They don't want you to leave. Anyway, after our short digression, I guess
Yeah.
I'll probably ask you, did you play anything over the
I
week?
did actually play some shit this week.
Oh, snap.
I did. I played my usual shit, but I played some different shit. I played quite a bit of Arkham Asylum. Went back and played a bit of that.
Oh, yeah.
I just played through probably about maybe a third. That's probably a bit too much, actually. Probably about a quarter of the campaign.
Mm.
So it feels weird saying campaign for Arkham Asylum, but you know what I mean. The single player mode.
Yes.
Yeah. Played through probably about a quarter
Wait, there's
of
multiplayer?
that. And, well, no, there's not, but, Anyway. Yeah, played through some of that, and that game has aged a lot better than I thought when I booted it up, and I think
It's
it was
not that old, is it?
it's 2009, man.
Shit, really?
Like, that game is 4 years old. I know, like, that's
Wow.
not a lot, but
It seems like a lot.
that
Like
seems like a lot.
that's almost an entire console cycle up till this point.
Yeah, that's like half of this gen ago.
No, but I mean, if you consider the old gens, that would be
Yeah, that's like yeah, it is.
that
Exactly.
would be an entire generation.
But yeah, played through probably about a quarter of that. And yeah, that game's just really, really, really good. And I think it really sets it, for me at least, apart why people may disagree, but they're wrong. It's just so much better than Arkham City. Like I think Arkham City, for what I like about that game, I prefer Arkham City purely because it has, a more fun combat system, and they did some cool things with it. But in terms of sort of how the campaign is structured and the way it's laid out and just the focus of it is just so much better in Arkham Asylum. Like it's got a real, I don't want to say old school vibe to it, but there is something kind of like almost like old school Resident Evil about it for me. Like you're trapped, completely different, style, obviously, but that sense of just being trapped and having to fight your way out, and kind of, the where you're trapped has this like mystery surrounding it and all these things you can discover, and like, except you're not got shitty tank controls and like crappy graphics. You know, you've got this fucking awesome combat system, awesome stealth, one of, if not the best renditions of Batman and the Joker. For me at least, you know, I'm not a fan of the comics, so you know, take that with a pinch of salt. But yeah, I just really like that game's style. Like, I think it's got a great atmosphere, great visual design, and it's just really, really fucking good. I got kind of hooked playing that again, and I didn't really started playing it because my Steam shit went wrong. I lost all my data, and I was like, oh well, I'll play through it again. And yeah, I just started playing it again. Like, that game's just really fucking good.
So is this one way Steam trolling you who worked in your advantage?
Yeah, it kind of did. So, but yeah, it makes me almost more excited for the new game, because like going through this again, like it really made me realize what I really liked about Arkham Asylum single player, and it, like, you know, equally as much made me realize what I really didn't like about Arkham City's single player. Arkham Asylum has just a really, really solid and just a really good focus of what it wants to do. Arkham City, even when playing it the first time, was like, hey, here's this semi-open world thing that's not really open world at all.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts the game in a lot of ways. And I think in some ways as well, it kind of broke the upgrading shit, because in those games, the combat is fairly trivial. It's not really that hard. And I think it almost felt like in Arkham City, they designed it in a way that when you come across a group of dudes in the street, I never felt like, oh no, a group of guys. I just used to chain like 20 or 30 guys together to just kind of, you know, cripple the experience, because it's all based on your combo. Like, that's the only thing that really matters. So if you could chain like 3 or 4 groups of guys together, you could get a huge combo and just like upgrade like crazy. You can't do that in Arkham Asylum. Like, you know, you when I was getting upgrades, to a certain extent at least, it felt like they mattered a lot more. And it's like, yeah, because it's going to be probably like another half an hour to 45 minutes before I actually get a chance to upgrade again. I'm not just going to be able to go and find a huge group of dudes and kill them all. Well, not kill them all, but, you know, knock them all out and get another upgrade straight away. And I think it like paces its upgrades far better, just purely because of the way the campaign is laid out and the way it's designed. And I really hope, I think it's Arkham Origins, isn't it? The like spin-off prequel thing,
I haven't actually heard about that.
The spin-off quel, whatever you want to call it. Speakquel. That's I like that. Speakquel, yeah. Yeah, like that's, I think, like set pretty much the events like leading up to Arkham Asylum. And I really hope they go that route with this. I really hope they don't do the, you know, semi-hub open world approach that they did in Arkham City. Not because I don't think it's impossible to make that work. I just don't think it's needed. Like, you know, you have something that really works and is really, really awesome and fun to play. And, you know, you kind of tried to do it this way once and it really didn't work. So, like, I'm really hoping they go the Arkham Asylum route for that. But yeah, I think that's out. I think that's due out this year, actually. I'm going to check that. I'm pretty sure that's this year. Because it's, I don't think it's made by the same team. It's not made by like the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City development team.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's have a quick search of that.
Do you reckon it'll still be good?
I think it'll still be good. I mean, worst case scenario, I imagine it's just going to be like a, you know, here's the combat and stealth system from these 2 good games.
Yeah.
But everything else isn't quite as cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I spend way more time in the challenge mode in those games than I do the campaign. Like, I complete the single player for the sole purpose of unlocking that mission mode. Like, that's why I play those games.
Yeah.
I think I probably completed each of those twice, like just on normal and hard. And then I'll just pull up my Steam library real quick for a bit of scope. Yeah, I have 76 hours played in Arkham City, and those campaigns are like, what?
Christ.
Single players are maybe 7 hours each. So yeah, a solid like 60 hours of that is the challenge mode. Like,
yeah,
that's
why
crazy. I play these games. So as long as they nail that, I'm cool. I'll buy them. That's one thing I kind of hope they go ape shit with.
Yeah.
I always feel they are a bit capped at like 16 challenges. It's like, nah, fuck it. Give me like 50. Give me fucking insane shit. Like, I want like 1,000 guys, like, all the time. I don't want Like,
Can they even put that many people on screen? It'd be like fucking oh, what's it called? Oh, what's that game? Dynasty Warriors? Didn't that
Dynasty
used to have like
Warriors.
1,000 people on screen?
I don't
Dynasty
think,
Batman.
you know, I don't know because like obviously they couldn't do that on the console. But I mean like the Resident Evil 5 had the No Mercy mode in Mercenaries. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Have you ever seen like the regular Mercenaries in Resident Evil? Like it's just kind of the like high score arcade mode thing.
Right.
But yeah, in that like it's like I think 4 times the amount of enemies in the PC version, purely because the PC version can handle so many more enemies on screen. I don't know if they could do that in Batman, but I don't know. Like that's kind of what I want out of it. Like, and I don't think that it'll ever happen because it's not really going for that kind of challenge in a way. And the number of enemies in those games is kind of trivial, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many enemies there are, but yeah, I'd really like them to do something like that. I'd like them to go a bit crazy with this, seeing as it's not the usual dev team. I'd like them to go kind of a bit further afield and maybe try some new shit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Arkham Asylum. That game is really good, and if you haven't played it, you should play it. And if you haven't played it, what the fuck? Where have you been? Where have you been for like the past 4 years?
I still haven't played it.
You still haven't played Arkham Asylum?
No.
You suck.
It's not my fault that I was supposed to have a free copy of that game, and then I never did, and then I kind of shunned it.
You suck. The next time that's on Steam, I'm gonna buy that and gift it you, and then you got no choice. You got no choice then. You play Arkham Asylum, you crazy person. Anyway, what else did I play this week? Oh yeah, man, I got fucking hell yeah, new high score on Geometry Wars this week, motherfuckers. It's all about Geometry Wars. Almost hit 5 million. Fucking, oh man, that game is so good. And for people that don't know the significance of 5 million, allow me to enlighten you. Supposedly, according to like some of the best players I've seen on like the YouTube shit, 5 million is where that game caps out. Like 5 million is where that game gets the hardest it's ever going to get. So if you can kind of figure out a pattern to stay alive past 5 million, in theory you can play forever. And that's something that I'm kind of interested in looking at.
Wait, why in theory you can play forever?
Because in theory, well, the way the game...
Does the game just stop spawning enemies after 5,000? Is it like Pac-Man? It just like gets to a certain level and it's like, fuck, I've broken!
Oh, no, that would ruin Geometry Wars. But in theory, the game... I mean, I've got like tons of theories about this, but the game quite clearly ratchets up in difficulty depending on how fast you die and how fast you... and in conjunction with how fast you die, how often you use bombs. So, for example... if you're playing and you get to like 1 million without dying, but then you die, say, 3 times in a row within like 10 seconds of each other, the game will ratchet down in difficulty for, say, a minute or so. However, if you die 3 times in a row and then use, say, 5 bombs, the game will ratchet up a lot faster because you're using a shitload of bombs.
Yeah.
And that kind of dictates how the enemies spawn. And supposedly, once you get to 5 million... that sort of stuff stops taking into effect. Like it actually sort of just gets to a certain, not necessarily a pattern, but a particular way of the enemies spawning that you're never going to get like, 5,000 red guys spawning all at once. You'll get a set amount. So in theory, if you can get to 5 million and figure that out and play and earn bombs and earn lives just as fast as you die, in theory, you can play forever.
But you'd have to play perfectly.
Yeah, you would have to play absolutely perfectly.
You'd have to play as well as you did up to that point.
Yeah, and also in theory.
Are you saying it just doesn't get any harder, effectively?
As far as I know, I mean, I don't think any of this really can be proven, but it's all theory. But
has anyone actually beat that amount?
I think at the moment, the world record is about 500 and something million on the first Geometry Wars.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, I think the best reported single life score I've ever seen is 6 million, and that's not on video or anything. That's just purely claim by a good player. So yeah, like there's maybe some merit to it. 500 million in that game, like those kind of runs apparently take days to do. You know, it's like you play it for a few hours, you know, go and do something else, come back to it and keep playing. You know, it's like in like Pac-Man, like crazy Pac-Man runs.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of shit. So yeah, if I don't record in a couple of weeks, you know why.
You're continuously
Continuous playing.
that forever for the rest of your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
You should film that shit at least.
You know, that's something that I'd love to do. I would consider doing that if I got good enough, but I just don't think I'm ever going to get good enough.
No.
To be honest, not to sound defeated straight away, but I don't know. Like that would probably be like at least 100 hours of footage, and nobody except me would watch that. So I don't know. There wouldn't really be much point to it. But yeah, Geometry Wars, people, you don't even know unless you've played the game, in which case you know. But yeah,
that statement.
And what else did I play this week? I played a little bit of the Monster Hunter I got on PSP.
Ooh, excited.
Played a bit of that. I didn't get a chance to play much of it because I was busy reading Game of Thrones as well on the bus. But I played about maybe 2 or 3 hours of it. Just kind of got past the introductory state. That's not a word. Introduction stages, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game seems pretty cool. I quite like that so far. I'm always surprised, like how good PSP games look, even now. Like,
oh yeah,
even now
fantastic. That screen is really nice as well. Like the size of it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like that game does not look like shit. Like, you know, granted, it doesn't look as good as, you know, modern stuff, but like that is not a.
Considering the size of the screen, like you could genuinely, especially when you're playing things like the Grand Theft Auto stories games, you could almost think you're playing like a PS2 game on that.
Oh yeah, I think apart from like the odd kind of obvious like poly limits in certain places, like some of the bigger monsters look a bit chunky. But yeah, like that is a nice looking game. Like that is a really nice looking game. And I haven't really played enough of it, I think, to have a kind of formed opinion on like the mechanics and stuff. But yeah, I like it so far. It's a good example of a game, as far as I know, that's like supposedly super crazy to get into. But I'm finding it really easy to just like jump in and out of that game.
The beginning's definitely quite gentle, but I mean,
yeah, that's cool though, because I think with that kind of game, having that kind of beginning is important.
Yeah.
You know, it's no good to play it for an hour and think, fuck this.
Have you just been doing like the hunt the little monster quests and gather some herbs stuff? Yeah.
I've just been exploring.
And you're playing Unite, right?
Shit. Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's a good game. That I have a lot of time in that game.
Yes, I'll be playing more of that. Definitely.
Do you have any questions? Just fire away.
Really, not really. I'm not finding it as kind of brick wally as I've heard, to be honest. I don't know if that's because I'm just really early in the game, but yeah, I'm not finding it.
It depends how well you get on with the whole camera issue once you start having to follow a monster, because you have to constantly be rotating the camera and keeping it in view. That can get a little tricky, and you might end up.
I played the like fucking 2004 Ninja Gaiden. I've got no problem with shitty cameras.
Can you claw?
Oh yeah, man.
Okay, well you're fine then. You'll have no problem with this game.
It's all good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I played this week. I'm trying to think if I'll play anything new. I don't think so. I think I've actually played a new release this year yet, apart from Dead Space 3.
I have played a few. Yeah, I've played StarCraft, Monster Hunter. There's definitely another one. What else have I played this year? No, can't remember.
I just thought, yeah, I have played Injustice as well, but I haven't played much of Injustice. But that came out this year, so.
Cool. Is that everything from this week?
Yeah, that's everything. I can't wait for like the next couple of weeks to go by, and then I can actually start playing some shit. I've still got Metal Gear to play. I'm really looking forward to playing that, because that game is not only is that game getting cheap really, really quickly, which is quite nice, but yeah, that game just looks fucking awesome. I really cannot wait to play that.
Awesome. I've played some weird stuff this week. I think only 2 games really of note, but the first one I played like from start to finish, not in one sitting admittedly, but over a few days since last week. I played the whole of Ape Escape.
Why would you do that?
I like that game.
That game sucks, man.
That game does not fucking suck.
That game
You're
is
wrong.
That game is garbage. That game was
What?
garbage when it came out, dude.
You are wrong. That
No.
game is great. That game has character.
People need to wake up. That game is trash.
Why? Why does that game suck?
Because it just sucks, man.
That is the worst argument I've
That's like
ever heard.
asking, why does fucking Ninja Gaiden 3 suck? It just does.
No, it doesn't. It's so cool. You fucking go around and catch monkeys in a net.
I actually can't remember anything about Ape Escape. I'm just trolling you.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah,
I
I really can't remember anything about that game. Except
So
I remember it was one of the first games that I think you had to use analog sticks. It had no D-pad support, and I first got it and only had a D-pad controller, and I was like, "What? This game doesn't work."
that game was like the flagship for the fucking analog stick. Like when you turn it on, it's like, yo, you don't have an analog stick plugged in. Go do one.
Remember there was some. I think it was mainly GameCube games that had it. Some early 360 games had it too, but you had to have like a 60 hertz TV to play them, otherwise they'd be black and white and really shitty.
The only time I ever ran into that problem was with the first time I ran into that problem was with Oblivion on the 360.
I think I think that was one. I think Gears of War 1 might have been one actually as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But with Oblivion, I genuinely took 2 discs back to the shop saying this game is faulty. And what happened was the starting cutscene, like the audio would skip. Like I don't know why the refresh rate would break the audio, but like it would play fine and the audio would skip on like the intro cutscene, and then the game, I can't remember what happened when you actually got to the main menu, but like the game wouldn't actually start at a certain point. And I took the disc back saying like, yo, this is faulty. And I explained what happened, and they were just like, okay, here's another one. I tried that one, and then I took it back, and they were like, okay, here's another one. Also, have you tried changing your Xbox to 60 hertz? And I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't you just do that in the first place? And then it worked fine.
I remember seeing it on GameCube games. Was kind of weird. I think Metroid Prime 2 was one of the first ones.
Huh? How weird.
And those games look really nice though. The Metroid Prime games on GameCube, gorgeous games. GameCube exclusives actually.
GameCube exclusive.
Pretty nice looking fucking games. Like Resident Evil 4, that was a GameCube exclusive. Yeah, that game did not look too shabby.
Yeah.
That being said, there were some that looked pretty shit, but I digress.
Yeah. Ape Escape.
Tell me about Ape Escape.
Okay, Ape Escape is a game like it's a game set in the kind of near future. You're a kid and you have a friend, and there's a scientist, and the scientist makes a time machine. But he also has made loads of other experiments, and one of his experiments is mind control helmets not mind control, like these helmets that make things more intelligent. And the monkeys stumble across them, but the problem is they're not completed yet, so they fuck with the monkey's brain and turn it evil. And there's this one monkey called Spectre, who's like the antagonist of the game, who you chase through time, because obviously the professor's made a time machine, he's warping through time, and he kind of takes advantage of all the professor's tech, and you have to chase him all the way from like the dinosaur age to future Tokyo and try and catch him, but then he gets away at the end.
Okay, I now want to play this game again.
I played it from start to finish, and I streamed the whole thing, recorded it, and put it on YouTube. That's on my YouTube channel now. Because why the fuck not?
Exactly.
Because I could, basically, was why I did that. Yeah, and so the weird thing about it is, as we were talking about earlier, it's one of the first games that force you to use an analog stick, and it's a 3D game, like polygonal 3D, and you walk around in a 3D environment and have to go around and catch these monkeys that run about. But the analog stick does not control your vision, of course, because nobody worked out that was how you meant to use analog sticks for a long time. The analog stick controls the direction in which you swing things you are holding. For example, a net. So if the camera's behind you and you're looking forwards and you pull down on the right analog stick, it will swing the net behind you, and it's always with respect to the way the camera is facing. It's always with respect to the way. I'm not sure now. I think it's always with respect to the way the camera is facing. So L1 turns the camera back behind your character, but otherwise the camera kind of just does its own sort of wishy-washy, trying to estimate where it actually should be. And the only way to actually properly control the camera is to press L2, which takes you into first-person mode, but you can't move. And then you can actually aim the camera to use things like a slingshot to hit targets, to open bridges, or knock monkeys off of vines and stuff and knock them down and catch. And it's kind of got like a kind of cutesy, like it's all family friendly, like you don't harm the monkeys, although for some fucking reason some monkeys get armed with machine guns, and apparently that's fair, so they shoot you with a machine gun. Also, they fly UFOs and will shoot you with laser guns and all kinds of horrible things like that, and all you get to do is hit them with a stun stick, fling rocks at them with a slingshot, and catch them in your net. You get a bunch of other gadgets, and it kind of progresses from there. And of course, because I'm like weirdly obsessed with speedruns at the moment. Again, this week I spent a lot of time watching San Andreas speedruns, and San Andreas speedruns are 6 hours long. So I was watching someone try and do that like live. A few times he got very close to setting a record, but then he bottled it on the mission that he always bottles it on. So I ended up looking up an Ape Escape speedrun, as one does, and it turns out it was done during Awesome Games Done Quick, which is the live streaming marathon that was on at the beginning of the year for cancer charity and raised like hundreds of thousands of dollars and was really cool. I think I mentioned it at the time, and I actually missed that run because it was one of the first ones they did. But there's a glitch in that game which just breaks the entire game. I couldn't sadly reproduce it myself, but when you have the slingshot, so the slingshot, you pull back on the analog stick to pull the slingshot back, and then it kind of goes, in the opposite direction to which way you're pulling it, if that makes any sort of sense. So you pull back to the bottom left and it goes forward and right. But when you jump, if you pull back on the analog stick with the slingshot, after you jump, it resets the jump, and then you can just repeatedly jump over and over again by pulling the slingshot, jump, pulling the slingshot, jump, pulling the slingshot, jump.
Yeah.
But there's a rhythm to it I couldn't really get. But watching the speedrun, the guy was just basically jumping over the entire level and just busting it. And one of the catches on one of the monkeys is really cool. You basically jump off a ledge backwards and then swing the net through a wall, and it catches the monkey on the other side of the wall, and then you land. It's really weird, really weird. So yeah, I'm not sure why I wanted to play that game. I just kind of wanted to see it start to finish because there was a lot of it I didn't remember. I found out that I remembered the beginning and the end, and everything in the middle was kind of a void. There are a whole series of levels I was like, I don't remember this being in the game, like giant dinosaurs and shit like that. I was like,
so did you play that? Did you play it on a PS1?
No, sadly my PS1 isn't here, so I ended up playing it on an emulator.
Oh, right, okay.
With an Xbox controller, and I'm not sure that's how that's meant to be played. It worked out fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that was good fun. The only thing I will say is that game gets fucked by the end. Like, the monkeys are armed way better than you are by the end of the game. I died a lot. Like, I got a game over screen like 3 times.
Old games were hard.
It's just bad controls.
I think that's part of why old games were hard, though.
Yeah, another thing is the AI in that game is so bad. Like, the monkeys will attempt to run away from you, but obviously they have to be catchable, so they're just almost completely random and unpredictable in which way they're actually going to run. Another thing is, when you swing your net, if you keep holding the stick, you'll just hold your net down on the floor, and you can actually turn around and keep the net down on the floor, and as soon as it touches a monkey whilst it's on the floor, it instantly catches them, so you don't actually have to swing them into the net. You can kind of just drag the net along the floor until they walk into it.
Yeah.
It's a useful trick I didn't realize. But yeah, if you have any memories of that game whatsoever and feel like checking it out, I would recommend it because it's still kind of cool. I like the character of it. Like, it's a decent game.
Cool.
Then free-to-play games happened. So I don't know if you remember, but I talked about MechWarrior Online a long time ago, back last year, the year of the mech. Yes. Well, I decided I would go back and play that a bit because I haven't checked it out since it was in closed beta, and it's been in open beta for quite a while now. They've had a bunch of new content updates as a whole. There's like probably about 5 mechs been added since the last time I played. I wanted to kind of see what was up. I hadn't even played the conquest mode, the kind of Battlefield style capture the flags mode that they have going on there. So I wanted to check that out as well. And yeah, that game's still fun. Like, I still really like the way the mechs control. They're really heavy. They feel really faithful to what a MechWarrior game should feel like. And I got interested enough in it to actually put money into it, which is something I've never done in a free-to-play game before.
Okay.
There was a sale on over the last weekend that's ended today on 2 of the hero mechs. So hero mechs are basically so in the game there are a bunch of different types of mech, and then say there's a mech called the Centurion, and the Centurion will have like 4 different chassis, which are different, effectively loadouts for that mech. So one chassis will have ballistic hard points, and another one will have laser hard points, which obviously means you can have different types of weapons on the different chassis for the mechs, and all the mechs have different, weight limits, speed limits, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And hero mechs are just basically unique. Well, not necessarily unique, but different chassis from the standard ones that you can buy, and you can only buy them with real money. And they also come with a custom paint job, and they come fully loaded out with like a decent spec, and that kind of stuff. So the one I bought was called a Yenlo Wang. It's like painted Japanese sunburst style, you know what I mean? Like white with a red sun with sunbeams coming off of it. So it looks really dope. And it was on sale for like 30% off. So I thought, why not throw a bit of money at that just to get an extra mech to get me going? Because at the beginning of the game now, they've actually added a cool thing. In closed beta, basically everyone just had a whack job of free money. Like you could buy 4 mechs and kit them out however the hell you like just instantly as soon as you start the game. In the full game, obviously, because they want people to either actually pay money or play the game and get invested in it. Basically, the first 25 games you play come with a C-bill bonus. C-bill is the money that you can earn in the game by playing it, not with putting money in. And you get basically like almost treble the amount of money for every game you play at the beginning, which allows you to save enough money to get one mech and probably kit it out how you like.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I got a catapult, which is my favorite mech in the game, really. And I bought one of those and kitted it out how I like nearly now. Yeah, I just finished that actually. Yeah, that's fully kitted out with a bunch of rockets and lasers and cool shit like that. And so that's a good way of getting people into the game and get them started with at least one mech, but I wanted more than one, so I bought this Yenlo Wang, which is a different weight class, just to give me something different to play alongside it.
Cool.
That was good fun. Yeah, I recommend checking that out if you've played any of the MechWarrior games and you are interested in doing that again.
Oh, one for my summer list. I don't know. There's something
it's
about
your summer
like
list growing.
Oh, yeah. I'm never gonna get through it. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It just won't.
Yeah.
But I'll get through. I don't know. I think the ones that like probably top of my list are The Witcher 2, BioShock, Metal Gear, and I don't know what else is coming out this year. I feel like I should at least play the God of War and Gears that came out, but I don't know. I just don't care. So maybe I should just take that for what it is.
Yeah.
But I think I'd care more about playing the God of War than I would Gears, though. So maybe I'll just play that. But it's just a whole campaign of Baird. Just the world didn't need that. Just really didn't. Nobody wanted that.
Fuck that shit.
Fuck Baird.
I liked Baird.
Baird's a fucking douchebag.
I liked Baird being a douchebag.
One of the worst characters ever. He should have been killed. They should have kept Carmine alive and killed Baird.
That should have been what they did instead.
Seriously. That's what they should have done. That being said, I don't know why people like Carmine either. Like, I think in the first Gears, he just had the funniest like one-liners in multiplayer whenever he killed somebody. Like, he easily had the best ones, and I think that's why like there were so many people playing him. But that's another story.
Indeed. Well, I guess we should talk about news, although there hasn't really been a lot, if any. I remembered.
Yeah. Oh, there was one slight development on that Eternal Darkness thing from last week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably already know that was already announced, and like some stuff was put out about it, like the E3 thing was wrong. So slight update on that. If you want to go check out some stuff on, I think it's, what is it called? My memory on that kind of shit's terrible. It's not called Eternal Darkness 2, but yeah, if you want to go check that out, like, go check it out, because dude, that looks like some seriously messed up shit. And that's a game I really want to go back and play. I really must go back and play through Eternal Darkness again. That game is so good. Well, that game probably hasn't aged too well, but
no, I can't imagine it has.
Still, well, it'll be interesting to see like all the CRT TV tricks on a HD TV.
What did I? Oh yeah, what's it? Ape Escape has some good scan lines going on. just to let you know.
That's
if you like scan lines.
Well, not really.
I do. I actually quite like scan lines. Don't know why.
Man.
That shit cray. You know, actually, that reminded me. I don't know why it reminded me because this isn't particularly relevant. But did you see? Oh no, yeah, I guess you probably didn't because you don't really keep up with Skyrim, do you?
No.
There was a post on the Giant Bomb forums in the Skyrim thing about some guy who's played like way too much fucking Skyrim. But his post was effectively how to turn Skyrim into a realism survival game where you have to like hunt for food and, you know, live off the land and shit. And like the cold actually like affects you in the game, so you have to wear warm clothing and shit like that. It's really cool, and it's kind of tempted me to install all the mods that he listed because they all seemed really dope. So I don't know if
I'd like to play Skyrim, but
you should just turn it into a realism. You know,
yeah,
survivalist, Bear Grylls, that shit.
There's games just way higher on my list.
True.
To be perfectly blunt about it,
I really want to get I still want to get Starseed Pilgrim. That's my plan after exams is over, to get that and see what the hype was about.
And just not sleep for like the whole summer. Just stay awake constantly.
I don't think it's that long a game.
Yeah, but there's other games to play, man. You gotta make up for lost time.
I don't really have much going on.
You need to play fucking Arkham Asylum for a start.
That's not gonna happen, is it? Stop deluding yourself.
What do you do? How have you not played that game? Seriously. Like, that's really weird.
Sorry.
You haven't played that.
Moving on. News.
There isn't.
What? There isn't any. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remembered one news story that I'm not going to bring up actually because it's kind of sad. So I'm going to go with the news story that we did find. NVIDIA's Shield portable gaming system coming out next month for no one to buy. That, if you have forgotten, is the Xbox controller with a screen strapped onto it.
What does that do again?
Absolutely nothing. It plays Steam. No.
Could I play Geometry Wars on that?
I'm going to say no just to stop you from even going.
Man, because if I can, I'll probably buy one of them if they're not too expensive.
You can. It's $350 if you want to go.
Fuck that.
Portable Geometry Wars.
That crazy.
It has a Tegra 4 CPU, 16 gig of RAM, 720p display. Why the fuck does it have 16 gigs of RAM?
Because it can. I think that's pretty much the only explanation you need. Right. Because it can.
A 5-inch multi-touch 720 display, Wi-Fi, GPS, mini HDMI output. Because if you're that crazy,
I have one very important question.
What?
Can it play Geometry Wars?
So
this is all I need to know.
Right. It's on Android. You can stream. Do you have a GeForce graphics card?
No, I don't.
Shield will also support the ongoing beta of game streaming through PCs equipped with certain GeForce GTX GPUs, offering access to a select number of supported games from Steam and access to Steam Big Picture on the device. NVIDIA also announced 5 new games coming to the Shield, including Broken Age, Costume Quest from Double Fine Productions, Fly Hunter Origins, Skiing Fred, and Chuck's Challenge. Well, that sounds like a blockbuster launch.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is it can't play Geometry War? Maybe
not. I thought you could play like...
Well, I'm not. Well,
I thought you could play like Steam games that ran on Linux on it.
But... This thing is dead. Why are they even releasing it?
Because they're fucking stupid.
It is really weird, yeah. It is a really weird thing especially like after having seen the Vita basically get fucking axe murdered like immediately. Like, why would you think this is a good idea?
I don't know. Because
Granted, they're not quite the same thing, but you know, it's really strange. Like, I don't know. It is very weird for them to be putting this out. But who knows? Maybe people will buy it.
crazy people.
Crazy people.
Absolutely bananas. Right. Now on to real news. Do you know what I'm going to say, Joe?
The Xbox shit.
Oh, okay, fine. We'll go with that first.
Oh yeah.
The 4 Xboxes announce events. That's next week, isn't it?
Oh,
Week today.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
I thought it was on a
is
Monday,
it
but
the
it's on
21st?
the 21st. So yeah, it's a week today.
Yeah.
Today being the 14th. This is already late for our attempted release date. But
Yeah.
never mind. A week today, the Xbox event will be happening. But ahead of that, more rumors, more evidence for the rumor that was previously mentioned, I think, on the podcast that the new Xbox will be named Xbox Infinity, has surfaced with some more marketing images featuring an Xbox logo it almost looks like Xbox to the power of 8, but the 8's drunk and fell over.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this is bad.
why?
I don't know. I don't like it when like stuff is like a naming sequence is just putting a word on the end of things. I don't know why. I don't like that. Like,
Yeah, because it's not really.
it doesn't
like,
mean anything. It means
there's no
absolutely
continuity.
nothing.
Like, where do they
Yeah.
go next? I
And-
guess.
And I think it's just like it's one more thing you have to explain. Like
True.
PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. That's pretty fucking obvious. Like PlayStation 4 is the newer one. Like Xbox 360, Xbox Infinity. What? Like,
Well, tell that to graphics card manufacturers.
and what are they going to call the next one? Infinity plus one? Like, come on.
Oh man, I can't wait for the rumors. Like the 720, that like next time, if this actually is the name of the Xbox, when we get to the next consoles, everyone's saying let's all call it the Xbox Infinity Plus One.
Infinity X or yeah.
Googleplex.
I mean, to be honest, like I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't actually another console after these, but who knows? So
yeah, I don't mind the Infinity name. It makes sense because it kind of links with Windows 8 if it is true.
I guess, but I mean, I just think they cut their fucking legs off when they called the 360 the 360. Really,
It's their fault for not being able to cope with the fact they'd have something with a 2 on the end when PlayStation has something with a 3 on the end.
You know, it would be interesting to see how that would have affected it.
You do wonder, but
I mean, because I think there's only like really die-hard like PlayStation fanboys that would argue that at launch, like take aside like the whole Red Ring thing because that really did suck, but in terms of games that were available and like, you know, pricing and everything, the 360 was clearly the better choice for most people. Like it just was.
yeah.
It was the better choice. Like, would it being called the Xbox 2 really have mattered? Would that have really made people say, yeah, I'm going to spend another like £200 and have like no games to play on it just because it's got 3 on the end? Like, would that really have made a difference?
I don't know. Judging by people, that's yes. I'm going to say yes.
True. You always assume people are really dumb.
Yeah.
I guess
pretty much.
that is true.
Tends to be the way it works.
But now it's like Xbox Infinity and whatever.
To infinity and beyond.
Just whatever.
Xbox Buzz Lightyear.
Let's do some predictions. Let's do that because that's always fun. Let's do some predictions. Top 3 things you'll think they'll announce, or they'll say it can do. It's probably a better way of putting it.
Stream.
That's a pretty broad.
As in stream games. How's that broad?
Well, you just said stream to start with. So.
That's my first prediction. I'm
Okay.
just thinking of the other 2.
Okay.
So my first one is it will live stream games you are playing. My second one is it will have 8 gig of RAM. And I'm just thinking of things that they're going to try and say that will at least match them with Sony. But what will they do to one up Sony? I don't think they're going to say anything about Xbox Live and their pricing model for that yet, because I bet they haven't got that finalized.
I wouldn't be surprised if that stayed largely the same.
Yeah, but they don't want to say that, do they?
Oh yeah, they wouldn't. But I mean, I can't see them really.
What would be the third?
Really altering that.
Did you see that article recently that was like just blatantly outright said Xbox and Blu-ray drive in the same sentence?
I've seen a couple of them. I wouldn't be surprised, but the discs thing just doesn't seem to bother enough people for them to really, for them to really do that. It's like that's a pretty over the course of their entire like console cycle, like that would be a hell of a lot of money to give to Sony just to have like less discs in a box that people don't really give a shit about.
I've got my third one, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, man, that's a bold prediction. That is thinking outside the box.
What are your 3 then?
My 3, okay, let's think about this. I predict the hard drive will be a fucking joke.
You think they'll announce that?
I could see it.
Fair enough.
I could see it. I'm thinking of like what Sony didn't kind of announce. They steer clear of that. So yeah, I'm thinking the hard drive will be a fucking joke. I don't think you'll get more than like 200 to start with, which I think is fucking ridiculous. Which kind of ties into my next prediction. They'll really push like downloading shit as opposed to buying shit, which is why I think the hard drive thing is just such a heap of shit, because it'll be, hey, yeah, download everything and have a fucking 200 gig hard drive. Thanks.
Yeah.
And my third prediction, let's think about this. Let's think of something crazy. Why not? I think they're going to fuck up their controller. That's going to be mine, actually.
Oh,
I think they are. Purely because I think it's just something that... It's one of the things where, like, hardware has a history of trying to fix what isn't broken. And, like, I think the 360 controller, bar giving it a decent D-pad, is a really good example of that. I think they'll fuck up their controller somehow. They'll just try and shoot much like Sony did with like the 6-axis and the quote triggers on the 6-axis.
Yeah.
They could have just put out the DualShock 3 and just called it the DualShock 3 and actually be the DualShock 2, and nobody would have given a shit.
It's just a wireless DualShock 2 that's really light.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nobody would have cared because, plenty of people were perfectly happy.
Would you be pro or con more buttons?
It depends where they put them. I think...
They can't put them anywhere but on the face, because otherwise it would confuse people.
True. I think they should bring back the white and black buttons.
Yeah.
But keep, like, L1, L2.
Where would they put them?
Just put them just make it like slightly longer. I don't think you can have like, to a certain extent, too big of a controller for your hands, because you can always.
So would you want like 2 rows of 3 diagonally?
Oh no, because that's basically a fight pad controller, and I don't think that works for like regular games. Okay. I think like the diamond layout I think is just perfect. Like having it like northeast, south.
So where do you put the other 2?
I think you just put them like sort of offset to the side, like just maybe like kind of alongside like A and B, like just kind of maybe that it's almost like 3 rows, but it's not like 3 horizontal rows, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Because then they're right there. They're not kind of out the way.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So where they were before.
Pretty much, yeah, but like but more kind of but more aligned, really. Although I really liked the white and black buttons on the Xbox pad. Like, I think they when they were used right, like they were really cool. Like, I didn't miss L1 and R1 when I was playing like original Xbox games when those buttons were used properly. But yeah, that's my third prediction. I think in some way, shape, or form they will fuck up their controller because I don't know. Just I'm throwing that out there. That's what they'll do. They'll be like, hey. People only need 1 analog stick. It's the future.
That double diamond.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what I
Kinda,
meant by 3 lines.
yeah, kind of like that, but like not as long, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
Not as long. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. I don't really think we need. I don't think we need more buttons, but I think it would. I don't think it'd hurt.
No.
I really don't think it'd hurt. And
Put Sony in a shit position though, because they haven't got more buttons
true,
unless they repurpose that touch Dubry what's it. But
true.
we'll see.
But yeah, they'll fuck up their controller somehow. That's my third prediction.
All right.
And what about? And just to keep it interesting, 3 things you'll think they'll get right. Like 3 things they'll come out with that are actually a good thing, or just one
shit.
if you can't think of 3.
Okay, let me try and think of one because I don't think I can get 3.
It's maybe a sad state that we.
See, the problem is I didn't expect Sony to say almost any of what they actually did.
Me
So I have no idea what Microsoft are going to do, and I'm pretty sure they were probably in the same state of mind.
I think the main reason I didn't expect that with Sony, at least, I didn't expect them to learn their lesson. You know, like they didn't really learn their lesson with the Vita.
I expected them to continue to keep it like close to the chest and just give a few hints that they could expand upon at E3, not blow everything out of the water. Like, here's our breakdown of system specs. Also, here's like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
Also, here's the recording feature working live, and also it's on Facebook. Like, all of that shit I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So, things that Microsoft will get right. That's a statement that is unanswerable.
Ooh, but
What about you? Have you got anything whilst I think?
maybe something to do with Xbox Live. I think Xbox Live needs a refresh.
I hope they know it needs a refresh. I really do.
I don't really think like the paying thing is.
All right. I'm going to be optimistic. The Connect, and by get right, I either mean A, they leave it out, or B, they fix it.
Or what about this? They bring it out and they just immediately throw it in a bin. They're like, right,
smash it with a hammer.
Yeah, it's like, right, fuck this. You know, actually, that'd be fucking awesome if they did.
I bet they'll talk about the Connect, and I hope they get it right.
Yeah. But they won't because nobody wants that. What is it going to take for them to realize that people don't actually want it?
I just want them to take the voice commands and put that into a legitimate thing and make it work streamlined.
You look at like motion shit. Like the Wii was cool for like 5 minutes, and like now no one cares. No one ever really cared about the Move. To be fair, the Kinect had its 5 minutes. No one gives a fuck now. Like, stop doing it. Like, learn from history, man. But yeah, I'm hoping they do something with Xbox Live. Make it, I don't know, make it just better. Make it less. Make paying for it like less of a pain in the arse than not paying for it. That's pretty straightforward. Just do something. I don't think they're going to do that, but it'd be nice if they did. Like, it's weird to have something that you pay for be so like intrusive and annoying.
Yeah,
it should be the other way around.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I don't know. What can they get right? They're already fucked up on the name. They'll probably fuck up.
Assuming it is that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not good, is it? Okay, I'll be optimistic. It won't look like a Fisher-Price toy. Like the
I like the way the Xbox 360 looks.
The original 360 is fucking ugly, dude.
You're wrong.
Oh, dude, seriously.
I'm stroking mine now to make it feel better whilst you say bad things about it.
That is the singular worst looking piece of hardware I think I've ever seen.
You are so wrong.
It looks... Oh, dude, so you cannot be serious.
Have you seen the original Nintendo DS?
Yes.
Looks like a fucking 2-year-old tried to draw a circle on a piece of paper.
360 is fugly, dude. Like, fucking for real. That thing is just... Ugh.
It's because yours didn't have any memory cards, they really set it off. It's the chrome plating on the front of the memory cards.
I used to have a memory unit in my original 360, and it still looked like something that like
still fuck you.
It looks like shit.
Anyway, let's move on before you make me sad.
The Infinity won't look like a Fisher-Price toy. I think they'll get that right.
Do you reckon they'll show it?
No, I don't think they will. Sony didn't show theirs, and they've got E3. They've got E3 yet. I think
They've got to save something.
Yeah, E3 is where we see the consoles.
How many nerd rages will occur after they don't show the new console?
How many idiots fit inside a phone box?
Over 9,000.
Exactly. And there's your answer. Just at X equals stupid people, and that's how many people will rage about it. I mean, who fucking cares? It's going to be a rectangular shape of some kind. It will most probably be black and made of plastic. Does it really matter what it fucking looks like? I mean, like, yeah, the original Xbox was fucking ugly, but that didn't stop me playing it, for thousands of hours. So no, I don't give a shit what it looks like.
Yep.
Neither should anybody.
True story. Okay, final news story. You ready?
I am ready.
Can you now predict what I'm going to talk about?
I should be able to, probably, but no.
Oh, disappoint. You're not even going to try?
No.
Alright, Pokemon X and Y. News
Alright.
come out today. Exciting shit. I'm genuinely excited. Like, every time Pokemon news comes out, I get stoked. So, there's a new trailer on YouTube. Go look it up if you haven't already. And there is going to be mounts. There are going to be mounts in Pokemon.
Okay,
So
how's
you
that
can ride Pokemon. So there's a Pokemon called... Wait, let me just get the name, because otherwise I'm not going to get this right. Fuck, what this... Oh, the name is... I shouldn't have forgotten this, because it's glorious. Go-Goat. Go-Goat.
Okay.
It's a large grass-type Pokemon that can serve as a mount, and certainly appears to be a goat that goes. So yeah, you can ride Pokemon and to go faster, because apparently the world in the new Pokemon X and Y game is fucking huge. So huge that the Pokedex for the region is split into 3 separate areas.
I don't know why this just made me think of it, and you'll probably know the answer to this. And if there is one, I don't know. I didn't know it existed. Is there a Pokemon fighting game yet?
Not a legitimate one.
How has that not happened?
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but I mean, how many Pokemon is there? Like fucking, I mean, like original Pokemon. Like, was it 100 and something? 101?
151.
151. Okay, yeah, that is a lot of characters, but I mean, a lot of, like, that takes into account like the kind of stage 1, 2, and 3s, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you remove those, there'd probably be still like 80.
Yes, I mean, and there's some that people just don't give a fuck about, and there's like clones in it and everything. So if you could take like kind of 40 of the most iconic ones,
Yeah,
and make a fighting game out of that, there's something there.
I feel someone did make a off-brand fighting game with Pokemon in it, but maybe I made that up. It probably got shut down if it did.
Yeah, that could work. That could easily work.
Yeah, but I'd probably go against Nintendo's policies of fighting.
Nintendo like making money, and that would sell.
That would be cool because like all the supers could be actual like moves. Like you could cast Thunderbolt shit as Pikachu.
Oh man, that would be cool, man. Oh no, what does Pikachu evolve into?
Raichu.
Yeah, there we go. You could like Pikachu wouldn't even be in it. It would just be here. It would just be Raichu.
So you could choose loads of Pokemon. No, just choose loads of Pokemon that each have one evolution, and then have their Ultra be they evolve.
That would be kind of cool. Like,
So like different stances, second form.
Yeah, they could like morph it. They could evolve, and that would be their alternate stance, and they could get like new moves and shit.
Yeah.
Like almost like Bloody Roar, which people should fucking play because that is a great fighting game. It's really not, but it's fun. Man, I fucking love Bloody Roar. That game is so cool. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that has not happened. I'm surprised there's not a Pokemon fighting game.
I'm really excited for the new Pokemon. Like, it looks really cool. All the 3D stuff looks fucking awesome. It looks like they've... I mean, I'm sure once you play it, it will be quite similar to the general top-down view that most Pokemon games have had. But the fact that it's getting slowly, with each iteration, closer to what everyone has wanted for ages, which is just a full third-person 3D Pokemon RPG, really excites me. And like the fact if this Kalos region, which is the new region, is actually bigger, which is like something I've been crying for since Gold and Silver, because the thing in in Gold and Silver was it had two regions. It had the region from Red and Blue and a whole new region, and you could do both of them. And that kind of added a whole lot more to the game. So if they, I mean, even if you're not going to be able to travel back to old regions, if they split this one up into three, separate regions that you gradually unlock as you go through the game, that sounds really cool.
Cool.
And I can't wait for that. That's probably one of the few things I'm actually looking forward to for the rest of the year, to be honest.
What's out at the end of the year? What's the release schedule looking like? We've got Call of Duty, obviously. We've got Assassin's Creed.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh man,
that makes me feel sick.
I've really grown to loathe Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
which is a shame. I still like number 2, and I really enjoyed number 1 in a weird way. I hated number 1 when I first played it.
Unironically enjoyed number 1 and still do.
Yeah, like I hated it when I first played it, but then I played 2 and played 1, and it was like, oh yeah, this is where they could have done it better, and they did. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Like appreciated it almost in retrospect.
Is Watch Dogs out this year?
Yeah, but I don't really give a fuck about that yet. That's a pretty good example of cool trailer. They haven't really shown much. They haven't shown enough for me to care yet.
Oh, this sucks. On Giant Bomb, you can't get to that page where it used to just show all the biggest releases for a year anymore.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
But yeah, what else is out? I mean, there's launch stuff for the PS4, I guess, but there's not really anything confirmed.
Remember Me comes out really soon.
Oh yeah, that looked kind of interesting.
And The Last of Us, both of those come out in June.
Oh yeah, The Last of Us. I'm interested in that. I hope that's good.
I can't see any further forward than that because Giant Bomb's being crappy. But Animal Crossing is another one I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of 3DS games this year, which excites me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try and do a manual search. This sucks.
Yeah, there's not much. I feel like we're missing something for the end of the year. I wonder if there'll be a Halo come out this year. There was a few rumors floating around about like a Halo 2 anniversary thing, which I would really like because I like Halo 2. So people can,
So Rome Total War 2 is another one I'm interested in. Grand Theft Auto 5. I've come back round on Grand Theft Auto. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm not saying I'm getting it. I'm just saying I'm willing to actually look at what
willing
happens.
To play it.
Apparently Watch Dogs is coming out November 19th this year. Battlefield 4 is coming out this year. The Sims 4 is coming out next year. I don't know why I said that. Saints Row 4 is coming out August 20th. That's interesting. Cool. What are your opinions on that? Because I looked at the big trailer they put out recently.
I'm deliberately avoiding pretty much everything Saints Row 4. Really.
Are you going to get it?
I'm going to get it, yeah, but I
would look at the footage before you make that decision.
I don't want to. I want to avoid it though. I don't want to go.
All right, if you want to get that blind, I'll let you do that. But
and if it's garbage,
I'm not saying it's garbage. I'm just saying it looks very more of the same-ish.
That's kind of but that's what I want.
Oh well, you're gonna fucking love it.
I want more Saints Row.
It looks like Saints Row 3, but so. I don't want to tell you too much because you don't want to know about it, so I'm going to stop talking. Unless you want me to talk about it without you seeing the video, because I could talk for a few minutes on that.
Nah, that's cool. I'm just going to see how it is. And
okay.
If it's good, it's good. If it's not,
there's some stuff I really like, but it's a definitely another game I'm going to wait for.
Yeah.
Before I make a decision on it, because I can't.
I just don't think they're going to get the Saints Row 3 kind of reaction again.
Yeah.
Purely because of lightning not striking twice in the same place, even though it does. But I just don't think they're going to get that again. Saints Row 3 it seemed to come out in the perfect time for that kind of game to come out.
Yeah.
Games. I mean, they kind of still are, but a lot of them were trying to be kind of something more, and that was like, nah, we're a fucking game. This is a fucking game, and we're gonna do cool shit. And it came out at a time where I really wanted something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe Saints Row 4 won't quite have the same impact, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. And Arma 3 is the only other thing of note, for me at least. that I'm following for the rest of the year. That's Q3 apparently.
There's like nothing, and there's nothing end of the year I really care about, unless like there is a Halo 2 HD. Although the lack of Halo 2's multiplayer would really hurt that for me actually. Just for like the sake of going back to it to see what just to see it again. And like Halo 4's multiplayer, just no thanks. I'm good. But yeah, it's probably going to be not necessarily a slow year, but I don't know. I really feel like we're forgetting like a huge release that
I went through every single release of this year according to Giant Bomb, and unless I'm being blind and literally lost.
I just feel like there's something like absolutely huge that we're not remembering.
Armored Core, Pikmin's pretty big.
No.
Splinter Cell, which no one cares about anymore.
Oh yeah, Splinter Cell. I'm looking forward to that. That could be cool.
All right. Well, I'll leave Splinter Cell there for you.
But
beyond that sequel to not sequel from the same people who made Heavy Rain, Quantic Dream game. Isn't that the Quantic Dream? They're the Heavy Rain people, right?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, with Ellen Page or whoever it is. Is that right?
Probably.
And now Giant Bomb's gone down.
So
okay, it's back.
I'd like to try Tomb Raider before the end of the year. I'd like to see if that's any good.
Thief? No, that's next year.
Yeah, no, that's new consoles, isn't it? Thief.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's PC as well, but
this is PS4, PC, and Xbox Durango, according to.
Durango, so fucking dumb.
Durango.
That is so.
I'll get my Durango.
It could have been worse. They could have called it that.
What, Xbox that?
No, like fucking they could. Oh man, fucking Durango. What the fuck, man?
I still want Project Natal back. I would be on board with Kinect if it was called Project Natal still.
Oh.
Fact. There is nothing else coming out this year.
Oh well. Oh no, there is. I knew I was forgetting something. It's not huge for anybody really, but it is huge for me. I think it is actually a thing, but I really, really hope Tekken Cross Street Fighter comes out this year, because, man, that'd be cool. That would just be cool. I really hope that game is a thing, because I'm not even 100% if that's confirmed. Like, I don't know. I tried Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I just don't really like the Street Fighter engine. I don't like the way that game plays. So I didn't really get to enjoy what I was looking forward to out of it, which I was, just kind of having like my favorite characters from those two franchises. So if they can do it in like the Tekken engine, I'd be way more on board with that. So I hope that comes out this year. I hope that comes out, period. But I hope that comes out this year.
True. All right then, I think that pretty much does us for this week's episode. Have you got anything else you wanted to say, Joe?
No, not really. Oh, I have got something I want to plug though.
Yeah.
It's not something of mine, but it's something that's fucking cool. Dude is doing a new high score run on Ninja Gaiden Black. Go check that shit out on YouTube. Cool. The guy's name is Balbaid, which is Balbaid. Go check that shit out. It's fucking awesome. And that game is the shit. So yeah, I want to plug that because that's some serious shit that guy is doing.
Whilst we're plugging stuff, I should probably mention the names of the people whose Grand Theft Auto streams I've been watching, because I think I've mentioned that quite a lot recently. The San Andreas one I was watching was Josh IMUZ, all one word, Joshy Muzz, on Twitch, and he usually runs on weekends. Particularly on a Sunday, he'll play for like 10 hours. If you have nothing better to do and want to watch someone rip the shit out of that game, it's quite entertaining.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that'll do us. Email us, themightyelectronicbox@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes. We're on there, I think, still, hopefully. Usually works. And Twitter @TMEB Podcast. Say goodbye, Joe.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.